Good evening and welcome to this episode of Solutions of Success. Tonight's a really exciting show featuring one of our football all-time names that everyone knows. If you're in Georgia, you know the name Gerald Riggs. Also joining me tonight, of course, is my sidekick and co-host,
Jack Bell from Absolute Fit.
And we have 4 wonderful students joining us, 2 from Heritage High School and 2 from Lafayette High School. So they'll be throwing Gerald some of their questions as we begin this episode of Solution of Success. All right, guys, you've been chomping at the bit. You couldn't wait. Gerald Riggs is here. You guys were all about him talking. What do you want to ask him? Where do you want to start?
All right, well, I guess I'll start. All right, we're still in high school and everything. We're still just enjoying the moment of playing football. So what was your most memorable moment about playing high school football?
About high school football?
Yes, sir.
Well, I'm it was a little bit different for me. Unlike some of these guys who probably played since they Pee Wee and all that stuff.
Right.
I myself had a different path. My most memorable moment for me in high school was getting my first start, which is like 3 games into my senior season, and the only year that I played football in high school. I was kind of one of those unique, kind of, if you want to call it freaks of nature, you want to say it that way for lack of a better phrase, and that I hadn't played football before, but I wanted to experience the discipline. I wanted to experience the structure. And growing up in a single mother home, coaches to me were the closest thing I could get to having that structure of a father, because that's what they do. They take on that role of being fathers, and not only just coaches. They are very, very important in your life. And for me to finally get that opportunity to play, and I'll never forget the first game that I played in was against the defending state champs. And everybody felt that, well, I'd only played in the second half of each game before that time, and had a few touchdowns and was doing pretty well. And going into the game to play against the state champs, ended up having a state record 9 touchdowns. And it's still I think it's still one of the top 3 ever in the state of Nevada, where I grew up at. So I never forget that moment playing against that team and having those touchdowns, and being able to, at that point in time in my life, was the time for me to go on and realize that I could do this. It was pretty special.
That explains why in 2003 you were inducted into the Sports Hall of Fame in Las Vegas.
Yes, in Las Vegas, Nevada, I was inducted into the Sports Hall of Fame among some great athletes that come out of the state of Nevada. Stevie Jackson, Greg Maddox. There's quite a few of them that have come out of that have been inducted to the Hall of Fame. So honored to be a part of that.
Well, you keep good company. You're sitting here by me. That's what.
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
Some outstanding achievements.
Yes, well, thank you.
Heritage, you had a question.
We were just wondering, how intense was your training through high school and college?
More so from the college standpoint, because I realized when I got to college that you're fortunate enough to get to go to school, whether it's D1 or some of the other schools or whatnot, and it changes. I always say that it's like when you're in high school, you guys are, you go and watch some of the college guys, practice or whatever. You don't really understand the speed of it until you get out there. So it's like right now, you guys say that a go-kart is pretty cool. A go-kart, you get a go-kart, whatever, go-kart track, and you're going around, and it's fun. Well, then you go to college, then it's like you go to NASCAR. How many of you guys can jump straight from the go-kart track and go to a NASCAR? And then if you're fortunate enough to be able to get the opportunity to go to the NFL, it's like Formula One. So the intensity of your workouts and the effort that you put in your workout, it increases every year, and you have to be willing to step it up every single year if you want to make it. If you have that desire to ever want to go and play in the NFL, your workouts have to kind of coincide with your efforts to get to there, because it's nothing. I mean, what you're doing now, you're going through getting ready for spring ball and all that. It's great to be able to to say that we're doing something, we're getting something out of it, we feel like we're working towards something. But then that effort, it's going to have to kick up every single year. And understand this too, is that the coaches, they're going to be asking you to do certain things in training. You're going to have to do that every single time. Don't ever feel that, well, I've done this. for a couple of years, that's kind of old hack or whatever. I had to do the same things every single year, all the way up until that. And I played pro football for 10 years. I was still doing the same things, warming up wise, training wise, some of the same things I was doing my entire career. So understand that the repetition, what helps you get better, if you put that effort into it, you believe in it, someday you'll be there.
Now, forgive me, guys, again. It seemed to me like different positions have different workouts and training. Is that true? Do you guys want to introduce yourselves and the position that you play? And Gerald, that might help with some definition of where the guys are going.
All right.
All right, well, I'm Trevor, and I play Lafayette, obviously, and I'm a wide receiver and an outside linebacker.
Okay.
I'm Connor Green, and I play for Lafayette, and I'm a quarterback.
All right.
I'm Luke Sheehy. I play for Heritage High, and I play O-line and D-line.
My kind of guy.
Tanner Nance, I go to Heritage, and I play defensive end.
Defensive end. Okay. Yeah. All right. Yeah, there are going to be some differences there. And it goes in, what we call them, we kind of categorize them as, in my career, as specialty guys and some of those other guys who are, we call them the trenches. The guys who are the trenches,
Right.
linemen. Those are guys who are going to be, pretty much nose to nose all the time. You're right in there with another guy. You know what kind of gum he's chewed, all that sort of stuff. And then the linebackers and receivers. It's a different workout. They do different things. One's geared on more of the basically the I think the physical part of the game is down in the middle and down in the line scrimmage. Those guys you got to really train because you're going to be wrestling and tussling with guys all the time. Guys and linebackers and receivers, sometimes you're outside. You can take a little break once in a while, but don't let the coaches know that.
Right.
Don't let the coaches know you're taking a break. But there are differences in the positions. You can't train them all the same way.
Right.
It's just not going to happen. I mean, you can get guys in shape. You can do all those things, but I think the area where you all can be equal is your effort. That you can never substitute that.
Well, there'll be a big difference in speed and agility in those different positions too, and that's something you really got to focus on,
That's right.
especially quarterback and wide receivers and stuff like that. It can be a pretty big difference.
Fundamentals.
Yeah.
Understanding those fundamentals, and like I said, those fundamentals are going to be taught every day. That's a part of the game. Even as professional players, we worked on the fundamentals before we did anything else in practice, and that's good. That's never going to change. So take those things serious.
Okay. Take a pause, guys, and let's take a caller from home. Hello, caller. You have a question for Mr. Riggs?
Yes, we do. How about letting us see the players, please?
Okay, they're not putting the players on the screen.
Yeah, you don't have them on the screen. We'd like to see them. Thank you.
Okay, Zach, need to show the players on the screen.
Grandma or something like that.
Somebody wants to
I want to
see
see my baby.
There they go.
There they are. Okay, they're back on the screen. That's the important part. This show is all about the kids, and it is a family show. So we really, really thank the school systems for sending their students to each and every one of our Solutions of Success shows. Now, we were just talking about training and endurance, and that brought me to one of your statistics, Gerald. In your 7 years with the Falcons, 6,631 yards rushing, the all-time franchise leader. But you're a big guy.
I'm bigger now
Yeah.
than I was. But
And, I look at some of these guys, and you were talking about positions, and I'm thinking that the bigger guys hitting, but you were rushing, you were running.
I was it was all my God-given ability. Because coming out of college, I was a fullback. But at that year that I played in high school, I was a tailback. So when I got to college, I was one of the biggest backs around at the school that I attended, Arizona State. And my coach, Frank Cush, looked at me and said, I have a lot of speedy guys. I've got tailbacks who were, they were 190, 200 pounds, whatever. I came out of high school, I was probably 235, but I was a sprinter. So naturally, I had speed. When I was drafted back into the NFL, they still recognized that and said, okay, well, we're going to move you back to tailback because of your size and because of your speed. There's not many guys in the NFL who had the combination. So therefore, I was able to do that. I was fortunate to be in a system to where I was able to have some success with the one-back system, and it helped me to set those records. And but at the same time, when I think about it, the minute you start talking about the yards, one thing that always stands out with me is the guys that I played with. It wasn't about the fact that I had 6,000 yards rushing. I always think about those guys that I played with. And people from especially the hardcore Atlanta Falcon fans, remember some pretty slim days that we went through. We didn't have very many good teams. But I always remember those guys that I played with who helped me obtain those yards and who helped me, to have those type of stats. I didn't do it by myself.
That's one of the things I love about you, is the fact that you are always so gracious about those who are supporting you and all those who are around you, and you support others. And it really shows with your teamwork in high school and with the Falcons and with the Redskins. Mm-hmm. Teamwork, you really showed the essentialness of team. Jack, training these guys, you trained some football players, and as I was pointing out to Gerald, I'm used to seeing the big guys. They don't move very fast, but he does. When you train football players, do you?
Well, it's just like when they come in, you got to figure out what position that they're actually playing, and you customize a program based on that. And we go through a series of trying to find out what their agility is like. We have a few different tests that we do. Check the balance, and really work on ankle strength, quickness from left and right, getting up and off the ground. We work on a lot of that. So it all depends on what position that they're really playing, because you can really customize it. And that's what you kind of get into personal training in small groups versus having an entire class out there and everybody's kind of doing the same thing. So you don't want to do that. But like if you got a quarterback and you work with a defensive end, they're going to train totally different, just like he was talking about earlier. So,
all right, guys, you said you had more. Let's hear it.
Being in the NFL and playing college football, you've obviously had a lot of success as a football player. And what do you really believe is the key to success for a football team as a whole?
Well, one of the things that always I try to focus on when I talk to, whether it's high school or whether I've talked to college players, and I've also done some things in the NFL. And it's when you're part of a system, the team that you may go to, there's always a system in place. All the coaches, they have a particular philosophy about what they want to try to accomplish, and you have to believe in what they're doing, and at the same time, you have to find it within yourself to say that I'm going to work my hardest to find a way to get on the field. There are a lot of guys, and I think over the period of time, you're always going to have that one guy where everybody wants to see that guy on the field, but sometimes it's that guy behind him that sometimes shines, because when they get that opportunity, because of the work that they've done and what they've done to try to make sure that they're the next guy to be called upon, sometimes they turn out to be the better player. There'll be a lot of guys who are naturals. I had the God-given ability. I was just a natural. The Lord put me in a profession where I had the ability to do these things. I'm not a small guy. I was a very physical running back, and the thing that I had to do was believe in what the coaches were saying, and at the same time believe in the guys around me, because that's where you truly find out how good you are. Is when you're out there, you know that you're responsible for certain assignments on the field. Everybody has a role, and to believe in that role and to believe in what you should do, not to let your other teammate down. That's when you find success. That's where you find those teams, like in the SEC football, for instance. And this is where we are in SEC country. You got the Alabamas and the Tennessees and the Auburns and all these Georgia, all these schools that they have players, and the coaches do a great job at helping each other, helping all the players understand that your role is important. It's not that's just because you're a third string or a second string or fourth string or whatever. To me, there's no such thing. You're a football player on that team, and you're going to do your best when you're out there, when you're called upon. When you believe that, and when you get out there and put that along again with your effort, those are the teams that do well. That's when you get a chance to shine, and somebody can go down and be hurt, and he doesn't even have to look back there and call anybody's name or pick out anybody in particular. He wants to be able to say, well, it's next guy up. That next guy is good. He's better be ready to play. So those things I think are most important when you from a team concept, because unlike any other sport, who they're smaller groups or whatnot, football is the ultimate team game. And if you're gonna play football, you have to be a team player.
Sounds like what you're saying to me is that the team has to function as a cohesive unit.
No doubt about it.
And I've gone to all these different exercises where it's building skill in teamwork. What kind of exercise does a football team do to build that cohesive unit so that you're all together functioning as one?
Oh, there's many. I mean, I think the coaches will try all kind of things to get guys to understand how they have to be a unit, how they have to play together. And I wouldn't say anything in particular. All coaches have different ideas, and some work, some may not work. But I think still they start them out with the premise that, hey, if we can get these things down, if we can understand how we need to work together, that all what we do, the work, the sweat, and all that we put in, getting ready to get to this point, we get all those things down, then we have a very, very good chance of being successful. And that's what you want to do every week is to say that we want to be successful, and we give ourselves an opportunity to do that. But if you have guys on the team sometimes, and I've seen this where sometimes you'll have one player who may not be with the program, and it sometimes can throw a wrench into everything. But you have to, as players, identify that as a whole, even within each other. Sometimes they always have a captain. I've been a captain. I've been in that position where I had to say, hey, I need you, to stand up and be accountable. I need you to do the things that that we worked on. Let's not get outside of what we've been trying to accomplish. And when I think when players understand that, success is never far away. Never far away.
So that's the key ingredient to these successful teams
It's
that
we
talk about.
Mm-hmm.
Great. Guys, another question.
Okay, being as successful as you were, how did you prepare yourself before each game?
Before each game? Oh, wow. Everybody does a little something different. Most guys now, they see them all with headphones on, and they I guess they're in their own little world or whatever. But I more so when I was in the NFL than I was when I was in college, is that I took a lot of time to basically pray that I go out and give the best effort. I did not want to disappoint God, because He gave me the ability to be out there to play. Mm-hmm. And my parents are, they birthed me. They trained me. They put me in the world. But at the same time, He knew me before I even got on the field. So I look at it and say, you gave me all this ability. I don't want to disappoint you, so I had to go out and give my best effort. And there are times too, the game's going to get heated and all that, but you gotta keep your head. You got to keep your head throughout the whole time and understand what you're out there for, and you're a part again of a team and a unit. So, yeah, it was different when I was in college, because when I was in college, I was a little wild. I was a little crazy, and I share those things with kids because they're kids. They're growing up. Everybody's got to learn. So I had to be as transparent and truthful about what I actually did. Going on in college, we were just different players. In the NFL, it's a job, and you have a lot of things to be responsible for when you're on the field.
Wow. Okay, guys, anything else? Yes.
Oh, you guys have a list or something.
Yeah,
I'm thinking
they were writing questions down.
I'm thinking they're going to have a list of all things. I'm like, ooh.
Well, if not, I tell you what, Zach, let's take a break and pay the bills. And thank you to our sponsors who care about you and your family.
A North Georgia taste of heaven, a fun place to be. And we're your family, UCTV.
Dr. Carl F. Peterson Jr. has been practicing dentistry in the Rossville area for over 30 years. He and his professional staff will gently take care of all your general, orthodontic, and cosmetic dentistry needs. Dr. Peterson is a participating provider with most insurance companies, as well as HealthSpring and Medicaid, and will gladly file your insurance. He will be greeted by his friendly staff who take pride in making sure your visit is a pleasant experience. Call and schedule your smile makeover, and don't forget to mention seeing this ad on Solutions of Success to receive a 20% discount on your visit.
At Accelerated Workflow Solutions, we provide software and training in the field of voice recognition to help make computers more accessible for both medical professionals and people with disabilities. Call us at 706-375-3007. We are the Dragon People. We are Accelerated Workflow Solutions.
Absolute Fit is an all-in-one fitness and weight management center. Our mission is to provide professional-friendly support in weight management and all levels of fitness training. We're located at 3012 Lafayette Road in Fort Oglethorpe, Georgia, just before you enter the Chickamauga battlefield. Remember our motto, don't cheat your body, and mention it and receive a $20 discount towards our J-Blast program.
I knew I needed to lose some weight. I was, and I had a lot of people that had taken the class that wanted me to try it out. So I finally gave in. Said, okay, I'll do that. The exercise program is simple. It's 18 minutes a day right now, which will go up to 28 minutes a day. And I like the knowledge to know that I have to come in on Saturdays or whenever my class is, stand up in front of him and explain why I didn't do well or I did do well. So it's all about the accountability for me more than anything. Well, for me, I take my kids to school, swing by here. I'm usually, my schedule's a little more flexible than some people's, but for me, it's not about I don't have time, it's about I make time. I would find the time, I'd find that 18 minutes somewhere, even if I have a really tight schedule, I'd find that time because it's that important to me. But it's only, like I said, 5 minutes, and then our little exercise routine that we do, they're 1 minute apiece, and you just keep moving for a minute. You get 30 seconds between each one, and then another 5 minutes, and to me that's not a lot, but you can actually accomplish a lot in 18 minutes that you didn't know you could accomplish. Well, he holds you accountable, but then you feel like you've let your class down if you have to come in and explain, oh, I gained a pound because I went out and had this party and I ate what I knew I wasn't supposed to eat. And I don't ever want to have to get up in front of them or him and tell them why I gained weight. We go through a presentation to start with. This just helps kind of restructure the way you think about things. And then all of the members in the class are very supportive. We support each other. If you've had a bad week and then you've still lost weight at the end of it, everybody's excited. Because you do have rough weeks. You have weeks where you feel like, I don't think I did what I could do, but then when you come in, you get on the scale and you've still lost weight and everybody's clapping and they're excited for you, it really makes you feel a lot better about what you felt like you didn't do so well on. For me, it's the supportiveness. It's knowing that there are other people there that'll support me no matter what. If I have a bad week, they're still supportive. If I have a good week, they're supportive. It doesn't matter. And knowing that I can come in and cry on Jack's shoulder if that's what I need to do helps me out a whole lot. And I've had bad days. I've had bad weeks. We've had to discuss. He's had to talk me down off the ledge a couple of times, but I like this knowing that they care, because you don't find that everywhere. Sometimes you go somewhere, they just give you a pill and send you on your way. He actually is all about trying to change your life and the way you think about things, and I like that about Jack. I think I walk a little taller than I did a year ago, which is pretty big. You start to feel a lot better about yourself and the way you look. And for me, that's big, because I've never felt that way. I've struggled in my entire life with stuff like that, so it's big. Since March 21st of last year, I'm down 40 pounds. Just that, I think most everybody you talk to would tell you that if I can do it, anybody can do it.
Uh-oh, Dad's gonna be mad.
If you find yourself in need of an attorney, call the law offices of Robert L. Stoltz. From auto crashes to forming a corporation, attorney Robert L. Stoltz can help you through some of life's ups and downs. Call him at 858-0023 or visit his offices at 376 Cloud Springs Road, Fort Oglethorpe.
Bingo!
Make a date every Friday and Saturday evening to go to the American Legion Post 40 in Ringgold to
play bingo.
We love bingo.
It's fun for kids of all ages.
Bingo is for veterans.
Great food, lots of fun, and money to be won.
Bingo! Bingo!
Bring your family and friends to the American Legion Post 40 in Ringgold. The Walker County Sheriff's Office supports high school graduation. Be smart. Stay in school.
Welcome back to Solutions of Success, where tonight we're featuring Gerald Riggs Sr. During our break, Gerald was talking about coming from a single-parent household, which is something we see quite a lot in the schools these days. Moms raising the children alone, or dad even. And Gerald himself came from a single-parent household, and he has quite a great story to share.
Yes, and one in which I can't help but just think about the joy when I go in to talk to families, sometimes mothers or with some of the dads, whatever, and I always share that story that how important it was to have my mother there at the game, and knowing that she was always there, and I wanted to do everything I could for her. I was playing in a game one year in high school, and she was late getting to a game. It was the first half of the game. I had not done anything in the game. I fumbled the ball a couple of times, and it was absolutely miserable. And halftime came about, and my mother had this thing where she had a cowbell. She always rang the cowbell. She was the only parent there with the cowbell. So everybody was nobody wanted to sit next to her. Okay? Nobody wanted to sit next to my mom because she had the cowbell. Well, after halftime, I'm still worried that she was not at the game. And like I said, I had a horrible first half. Second half starts, we get the kickoff, and I'm in the huddle. And next thing I know, I hear that bell go off. And I look up in the huddle, whatever, and the coaches on the sideline, they're just like, Gerald, your mom is here at the game now. Now run the ball. And everybody starts, all the guys were happy. They were patting me on the back, whatever. Okay, now let's go, Gerald. You know, and second half, I had a great game. But I share that story because I want guys to understand how much that their parents can be there for them, and how much you have that love for them. That, you know what, you can go out there and do anything. You can play those type of games. Some things can. You never know what big play may happen, but if your parent is there, it is such a great thing to have. And I only can pray that you guys have that same experience with knowing that your parent is there, because it doesn't matter if it's a touchdown, a big block, a big catch, a big throw. You know, it's something that you can share with them, and you'll have that for a lifetime.
Oh, so important, that parent relationship, that child-parent relationship. So important to have that support.
Yes.
And it's a life-changing difference for children when they've got that parent support.
Amen.
It is.
And you get that feeling, that urge, you want to make them happy and proud of what you're doing too. So.
Yes, you do, and it's in sports, and it can be the same thing. It's not just only in sports. It's in life. It's in school and your schoolwork or whatever. All those things they matter.
Oh,
and
they do.
I want young kids to know that, you know, they can have that same joy just by doing the little things in your family. Whether it's, you know, doing what mom wants you to do or doing what dad wants you to do, you can have that same joy knowing that they're proud of you, and they're going to validate you someday into the world.
Oh, and that's so important. It's still important. Hi, Mom.
I've done that many times. Yeah.
You know, it doesn't matter how old I get. I love that part. You know, the hi, Mom part. See, you're never too old to say hi, Mom, guys. No, never too old to do that.
I did it many a time.
All right, guys, what else would you like to ask?
Okay, being a bigger running back like you were, what was your nutrition plan to maintain your weight and stay healthy?
Oh, you know, that was something that was so important, and I did it almost kind of like it wasn't told me, nowadays they give you all these different little diet plans and things to do to try to maximize your effort and all that. I was one of those guys that I really believed in my as far as me as a player, how long I can be on the field. I kind of prided myself around the fact that if I'm going to carry the ball 40 times in a game, that I was going to be ready for it. And the only way I could be ready for it is to make sure I took care of my body. There's no way around it. Nutrition is important. It's key. They emphasize it more these days. Where at the time when I played, we weren't worried about going out and having the Dairy Queen and the chili fries, or all that sort of stuff. You have to understand, if you're going to go out there and play to give maximum effort, you don't want to have those sluggish times and the times where you're down or whatever. You have to take care of your body. You have to get the right amount of sleep. You can't just go out there and say, well, I've been hanging out or staying up late at night, most of the week, and then expect to go out on Friday and play a great game. It's very few people, if any at all, can really do that. I've seen some guys who can probably burn the candles at both ends, but at the same time, when they get out there on the field, it shows. And at some point in time, you never want to put yourself in a position where a big moment comes upon you in the game and you can't perform. That, for lack of a better word, it sucks. You'll never want that to happen. So take care of your bodies. Listen to what the people are telling you. Put the right things in your body. I myself was a guy. I didn't know what it was like to have even cake and ice cream and that sort of stuff, unless it was kind of brought in for like the team or something. I never ate it throughout the week. We had a place. I don't even think it even existed anymore. There was a place called TCBY.
Oh, I love that. Yes.
That was kind of like my reward at the end of the week when I trained. And when I would always train in Arizona when I was a professional, I would go back and at the end of the week, I'd always get me just a little thing of sorbet or something, just to kind of give me something sweet. But I was not a sweet person, so I would do that. But the rest of the week, it was all about trying to do the right things. I do not believe in guys taking these illegal substance things that they put in their bodies to try to get a little bit more out of it. To me, it's your body is a temple, and you will get out of it what you put in it, as they say. You've heard that before, and to me that reigns supreme, and that's the only way to be it. It's the only way to do it.
Definitely a temple. Sleep. You mentioned sleep, and as a teacher, I don't know how many days that I would look out in my classroom and there would be this. And I'd say, why? What's wrong? Well, I stayed up and I played. Yeah. I was doing this all
night. We didn't have those back in the day. See?
Exactly.
We didn't have those things.
Good 8 hours of sleep. Guys, how many hours of sleep do you get each evening?
We got to say, we'll probably wake up about 6, 7 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, but you probably go to bed at 1, 2 o'clock.
No, I'll go to bed early, like 10:30.
Well, good.
That's early.
Well, that's good for you. But there are a lot of kids who don't do that. Yeah.
No, and it really, as Gerald said, it really makes a difference when you don't sleep well and you don't eat. Your body's a well-tuned machine. It will not run without the right ingredients. What do you think, Jack? What do they need to be eating?
The hydration level is huge. And they've got all these sugary drinks out now that a lot of people are drinking, and that's
I never drank those. Yeah, they're not a sponsor of yours or anything like that. But all these other companies, the Powerades and all that. I never drank those when I was in college. I never did. It was water for me, But at the same time, it was what I drank before the game. It's how I hydrated before the game, which is also important. And it's like, believe me, guys, it makes a difference if you hydrate the night before. You can't do it the day of. You got to do it the night before and continue on at that point in time. It is so crucial. I played in Arizona. If you've ever been out that way, the heat is something else. We played actually only one day game when I was in college because it was so hot. 118, 119 at game time at 7 o'clock. So water or being hydrated was very, very crucial. And if you've never been out there and felt that kind of heat, I trained in it, so I was always prepared for it. Twice a day for instance, in my training, I'd start 7 o'clock in the morning, try to beat the heat, but usually by 9 o'clock it was already 95 degrees. So then to have that second workout the other part of the day when it was extremely hot, that was something that I never compromised. It was like I had to do it because I know what I was going to be facing as a player on the field. With the uniform on, how much I was probably going to sweat during the game and whatnot. I had to go out there and work out. By that time, sometimes, like I said, 17, 18, 19 degrees. So it's crucial to be able to hydrate. The food part of it, I didn't like to play on eating a lot of food before a game because you didn't want to be sluggish. Right. But you have to put something in your body, though. You just have to understand, and it may take a little bit of time. But as far as you guys maybe kind of experiment with yourself to see, okay, what I do better with, fruit, versus maybe something a little more solid. Everybody's different. Lyman, everybody talks about, eat a steak and have a shake and all that sort of stuff. But it's like, it may be okay for a little bit, but it's pretty heavy. You want to be able to find what works best for you. Like I said, everybody's body chemistry makes up a little bit different.
Well, I keep hearing stories about, especially young men in football, summer practice, suffering life debilitating incidents because of, I'm guessing, heat, without hydration. So those things are so critical, not just for performance on the field, but for life.
Yes, they are. I have a very story that touched me a whole lot, and I try to go out and speak to kids, certainly before they get to the summer workouts and stuff, because I hate to hear those stories of how some kid loses his life because of a heat stroke or get out there and he spent most of the summer on the couch playing those games and not really going out and taking the time even just to walk to get acclimated to the heat and help himself, because when you get out there and you've not done anything until the 2 weeks or the hell week as they call it, whatever, you've not done anything before then, it's a very tough thing to do, to come out and say you're going to go through the workouts and you've done nothing to get yourself acclimated to the heat. So take it serious, because it's still hot here. It gets very hot here. It still gets up there, especially that humidity gets up pretty high. So get yourselves acclimated to the heat. Don't just stay there and hey, it's great to be able to sit inside and it's cool, and I've got a big glass of water and I'm playing my games, but get used to being out there. It helps.
Gerald, I keep hearing you talk about your ministry.
Yes.
And that brings me to GRN, the Gerald Riggs Network. You have played in the Super Bowl. You've achieved that pinnacle, and now you're going in another direction. You've got ministries that you're focused on. And when I was reading your card for the Gerald Riggs Network, which you can, of course, Google and look at Gerald's activities, talk to me about, you're talking about your ministry here. Talk to me about your areas of ministry. I was reading that.
Yeah, you said that, now I'm going in a different direction. It's not the fact I'm going in a different direction. I just decided to listen now. I was always going in that direction. I think the Lord He had a plan for me from me playing in football. I think that I was in the sport, the business that God had for me. I didn't know it. Certainly growing up, certainly thinking about playing the game. I almost messed it up. I almost messed up my blessing with playing football because of actually playing the 1 year in high school football. My story before then was that I was a kid and growing up in Las Vegas, Nevada, where I was in those situations where I could have gone, one direction or another. I was kidding around, said I had one foot on the banana peel and the other foot on hell. Because I was that kid that I didn't have a father, and I was doing some things that I shouldn't have been doing. I had a group of friends that I grew up with. We all kind of played sports. I was the last one to really play football. They all played football, and I kind of gravitated to it because of them. And I lost a couple of them along the way. And had I been still doing the same things, I wouldn't be here. I probably wouldn't be here because we followed each other quite closely. Well, football came along in my life at that time, my senior year, gave me that opportunity, and I didn't realize that God was working on me at the time. I'd always had a very compassionate heart. I was always a very caring person, even though I was still kind of a little rambunctious and didn't listen to a lot of things sometimes. But that whole journey that I had to get me to the point to where I was playing professional football was one that, you know what, I had to say it was God, because I could have many times messed up and been somewhere else and done something different. Well, getting there and being able to finally realize that even though I was not saved at the time, I was still recognizing the fact that God was doing some things in my life, and He was changing me in a way in which the things that I did and the life that I led at the time because of the football. Let's just face it. You get to be, you're going from, again, the go-kart track to F1 racing. Okay, so all of a sudden now I'm in Atlanta, in one of the hottest cities in the country, with free reign to do whatever I wanted to do. And you know, I as I tell kids too, that you know, I was one of those kids. I was the playboy. I was the star of the team, and I made a lot of mistakes, and I did a lot of things that I should have stopped to think a little bit more about it. I don't necessarily have any regrets about it, because I think they were all for my making. So God put me in a position to where I've been up, I've been down, I hit rock bottom, and it's like I say, football is a game that to me that emulates life more than anything. I can't speak for baseball, I can't speak for basketball, but the lessons that I've learned in football, along with the teammates, along with the coaches, and some of the players that I've come to befriend over the years, have all been a part of molding me to where God wants me to do a different thing. He's always given me that platform. And I've always talked to kids, even when I was in college. My coach, Frank Cush, had emphasized for us to always put the emphasis on us to go out and to be involved in the community, to be able to talk. And there in Tempe, Arizona, we had pretty much a smorgasbord, you can say, of different type of people, the nationalities, whatever, Hispanic, Black. I mean, we had a little bit of everything. And we went out and we shared our time with them. Now, it wasn't from a godly sense necessarily, but it was again from giving someone else some hope, to say that these guys are playing another sport. They're doing something. They're going to college. They're doing something instead of being kind of trapped in some area without any hope. I was one of those kids that had hope, and I want to share that with the ones that I had an opportunity to talk to. So getting into football. I didn't have, again, my father growing up. I didn't have that opportunity. I didn't have that validation to go into the world. And all you guys who now, you have fathers and whatnot, they've gone through. They teach you things. They're there for you. They chastise you. They discipline you. They do all those things. I didn't have all that, and I played the game of football with a lot of rage. And I think that's why God put me into that sport. Because I could just walk down the street and just attack people, or just beat anybody up. I'd be in jail. I'd be in somebody's prison or something. So, being that I played in the game and played it the way that I did, there were some things that came to me a little bit after the game, and that I went to my first Iron Sharpens Iron conference. And the coach who was the actual coach of the team from Remember the Titans, the movie,
yes,
he was there, and hearing him talk about how we all want to be validated in our lives as men, and we want to be able to say that we are doing the things to make our fathers proud, and I never had that, and at the same time, he helped me realize too that even though I didn't have that from the worldly sense, it was still there from my godly sense, in the godly sense, and that he validated me to go on and be a better man. He was always watching over me, and even though there were times where I could have turned left and I turned right, like I should, in times where I needed to, he was always there to watch over me, and I did not understand that for a long period of time until that conference. And so, with that being the case, I couldn't help but say that, for me, that I accept him because of what he has done for me, what he has put me in, what he has taken me through. And it's been some hard times and been some up times, whatever, but we are all going to go through that. We are all faced with it. I'm talking at the Iron Sharpens Iron conference this year, and my thing is talking about blitzes. There's one thing that is a term in football, it's called blitz. And these guys know what it's like. Okay, be ready for the blitz. Certain things are going to happen on the field. We are faced with blitzes in our lives in every facet that we have. We are faced with blitzes all the time. And being that I was a tailback in high school, getting to college, let's just say in high school, it was either toss the ball left to Gerald, toss the ball right, run the ball. I never had to worry about a blitz, so I never knew. So I get to college now, and then the first thing I know, we were at practice, and everybody said, ready, watch the blitz, and I'm like, what do you mean blitz, whatever? And then everybody's flying by you, and you don't realize what just happened, and then the quarterback gets hit and all that. But I say that blitzes we are faced with blitzes in everything, in our lives, in our family lives, in our work lives. We are faced with it all the time. And God gave me that to take and to share with others, fathers and sons, that we are being blitzed all the time. We've got different blitzes that we have to face against. Sometimes it's blitzes of trust is a blitz. Things in your family that come about that we just have to be faced with all the time, and they are in the form of blitzes. I talk about how, as men, some of us played football only in high school. We never went any further, and we think that we can kind of vicariously live through our kids with it, and that's great, that's fine. But do you prepare them for the blitzes that are going to come about in their lives? Because they're all going to be there. You're going to have different types of blitzes everywhere. I always say, from a father's standpoint, Dick Butkus, for instance, was one of the most menacing players to come along in NFL football. Nobody wanted to go against Dick Butkus because he was a beast. Okay, the man was nasty. He was mean. He was always trying to hurt you. But at the same time, as you look at him, that also could be another blitz that we've faced in life, something that could be very, very terrible and tragic that we have to be prepared for. Well, the coaches will prepare you for those blitzes out there on the field. God prepares you for those blitzes in life.
Yep.
Amen.
And when God gets you, when you go by His playbook to deal with those blitzes, that's when you grow. That's when you're able to help others. That's when you're able to go along and you can say, hey, I've done it. I know what it's like now, and I'm here to spread God's word to help you handle those blitzes, because we are all going to be faced with them. So that's what I do now. I try to go out and try to help young men such as yourselves understand that you're gonna get blitzed by everything. Girls are a blitz. Friends can be blitzes. Doing the right things, those are blitzes. You're going to be faced with all those different things. And the thing is, what's going to happen? What are you going to do when you are faced with it? Are you going to try to handle them in the manly sense and thinking that hey, I can do this. I got this. Somebody's told me about it, whatever. But it's very difficult to deal with those blitzes when you don't have the ultimate relationship, and that's that relationship with God, because He helps you. He helps you understand that you can hear what He's saying to you when you know His word.
That's amazing, Gerald. The statistics are 1 in 270,000 high school football players will go pro. There's obviously a reason that you were that one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there was a reason that was that one. Like I said, I still say that it was all about God, but at the same time, too, as I talk to kids, I'll stand out in the field. I'll go out on the grass. We'll be in the grass, and I'll say, I'll take a penny. And I'll take that penny and I'll throw it in the air and I'll throw it, it'll land on the grass. And I say, that's you, that's that penny. But you look at all those blades of grass that's out there. That's how many kids also want to be in the same position. The thing is, what are you going to do to make yourself special to stand out? Because you're going to have to do that. Because there's that many kids with that same dream, those same aspirations of saying, I want to do something that only 1,500 guys every year can do. What are you going to do to separate yourself to make yourself different? Well, you can do all the work and all that sort of stuff, but even if you don't make it to that point, whatever, I still feel it's most important to say that you have that relationship with your God, because even if you don't make it in that realm, He still has a plan for you. He still has something for you. He still will put you in some place where you can give the glory to Him, and what He does and does in your life and shows others through it. It's going to that's when we know that you truly are touching. You truly are doing something special.
Gerald, there's a reason I love you, and this, and you just said it all. That's the reason. Gerald Riggs Network, Look it up.
GeraldRiggsNetwork.com.
I'm sorry?
It's GeraldRiggsNetwork.com.
GeraldRiggsNetwork.com. Look it up. Check out Gerald Riggs. And now you speak to groups.
Yes.
You're available for speaking opportunities.
I'm here to let people know that, I'm there. If they, whatever they need. My thing is getting out of it and not only just spreading the word, but I have a testimony. I have a story. I know what it's like to be that kid who thinks that maybe there's no hope. I know what it's like to do that. I was kind of like in the middle. I had a hardworking mother, and then I had a stepfather who came along in my life, but I was pretty much out of high school. I love him to death to this day, and I still, give him credit for being there and say that he wanted to take on the responsibility of being there with 5 kids that weren't his. But at the same time, I talk about that and I share those things with the kids. So I'm involved in the community as much as you want to use me. So use me.
Amen. Gentlemen, got time for maybe 1 or 2 questions? Very quick.
You got it?
Not sure. What's life like after you get finished playing pro ball?
Oh, I've retired probably about 6 times. It's life kind of starts after that because understand football or any other sport that you play, your life is pretty much taken up by it. You're training, you're focusing on getting prepared for the next season. There's limited time that you have with your family. There's limited times of things that you can do, and there are a lot of things that are tugging on you all the time. Especially, you don't have to be a star. It's just knowing that okay, there's somebody who's playing at the highest level of a game that many people can't do. Many people don't get that opportunity to do so. So there are a lot of things there that really are pulling on you through that time. And if you're blessed enough to play X amount of years, some guys don't get a chance to play very long, but they at least want to say they had the opportunity to do so. But after the game is over with, you find time to really give, I think, more effort back to your family, any other endeavors that you may have outside of the game. You have more time for it, but at the same time, you'll never forget those moments that you shared in that sport, especially in football. Because I've developed many relationships over the years. We have alumni events. We have things that we go back, and it's always a blessing to say that you'll see some of these guys' names in the Hall of Fame or whatever, and I can say that I played with those guys. And we hanging out, and we're playing golf or we're doing something together, or I get a chance to spend some time with those type of players. It's a great thing. It's a great life, but at the same time, like I say, it's a long road, and it's one in which you have got to be very super focused on doing what you need to do every year to stay on top. Because just like let's just say in football, demand from other schools are coming out every year. Everybody talks about, I'm going to be a star and I'll be a star every year. Every year somebody's looking to knock you off. So it's not like you're going to, you get there, you all of a sudden you're the big time receiver or the quarterback. Some quarterbacks may be in better situations, but there's always going to be somebody behind you. There's always somebody behind you, and it's like you got to be prepared to weather that storm. That's why as a running back, I love to teach guys. I love to help them understand what they had to do in order to be successful. I just didn't give them all the secrets. That's all. I just didn't give them everything. I want to stay that on the top of the heap just a little bit longer. So but that's kind of the life and how it is. And then you probably can find a lot of different things that are going to make a difference in someone's life.
And you've definitely made a difference.
I try. God's working on me all the time. He keeps me going. I always say, Lord, what is it this year? As I go into this year, what is it you want me to do? I'm available. Let's see what you have for me. And then I look up and it's like a train. It's like Lord, okay, let me be careful what I ask for, but that's the way it goes.
That is. Well, we've only got a couple minutes. Elvis Presley said this. He was a star, as are you, Gerald. He said, "It's not how much you have that make people look up to you. It's what you are." Mm-hmm. I'm proud to call you friend.
Well, I'm very honored to be able to sit here and share these things with you. because it really, I'm just a regular old red-blooded guy from Las Vegas by way of Louisiana. I'm still, that's my roots there in Louisiana, but you know, like I said, we've done some things that not many people have done, but it's great to be able to share it. And I think that nowadays is sometimes with the game in the West, all these things that are going on in the game and what happened certainly in this past season, a lot of things were brought to light. But there are a lot of us in the game who believed in trying to do it right and believe in trying to make a difference in other people's lives off the field. It's great that they can see us. Some people don't recognize us because of our uniforms, but when we take the uniform off, that's when it really matters.
Thank you again, Gerald, for being here with us this evening.
My pleasure, Paula.
Day Caloris, my brother.
Day Caloris to you, my sister.
That's right. Thank you for joining us on this episode of Solutions of Success, where we have had the great honor of hearing the testimony of Gerald Riggs. Next week, we'll come back with even more interesting things for you and your family and your teenager. As always, God bless America, and it's a beautiful day to be in North Georgia.